Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kofi Boche Jr. I teach business at the IGCSE level and then the A level at DPS International, Ghana. Today's session is on change. Change. Normally, when we talk about change, change normally comes with what uncertainties. When people hear anything about change, change at our organization, change in our relationship, change in the environment, it tends to bring some level of fear within us. Today, I want to ask us, everybody present today, should change be something that we dread? Or should change be something that we anticipate and we hope will bring us something better in our lives? Now, when I am teaching business at the A level, there is a topic called change management. That is a strategic decision. When organizations are going through change, we have different processes that the manager needs to go through to be able to have effective change. Today, I don't want to bore you with change management. I want us to have a practical feel about change because change doesn't happen only in organization. To be able to cut my message or send my message across better, I decided to look at one of my all-time favorite books. Okay, it's called Who Moved My Cheese? So I'll be using characters in this book to depict how most of us respond to change in our lives. This book was written by Dr. Spencer Johnson. As I speak with you today, it is among the best-selling books of all time. It is a book that management, senior level managers use when they want to effect change in their organizations. But then, the lessons in this book is something that we can actually apply to our daily lives. Okay, so we are starting now. Now, this is just a complete summary. I have less than 20 minutes to be able to send my message across. So I am just going to give you a summary of the book and then we will also give some lessons at the end of the presentation. Okay, now there are 4 characters in a maze. This book is going to talk about 4 characters. And these 4 characters, they are made up of little mice, 2 little mice and 2 little people who find themselves in a maze. You may be wondering, what do we mean by maze? The maze represents our organizations that we find ourselves in. The maze represents the communities that we find ourselves. And then the relationship that we are in right now. Okay? So these little people, the 2 mice and then the 2 little people are being portrayed to depict some of our personalities. Now, the 4 characters are Sniff and Scary. The Sniff and Scary, they are the little mice. Sniff and Scary are the little mice. And why do we need to know something about Sniff and Scary? As the name sounds, Sniff, this is a character that is able to easily anticipate change. They are always looking out for something that is new. So they sniff it around. And then Scary, who is always with Sniff, is somebody who is proactive. He is the first to take the next step towards change. So Sniff is able to anticipate it, and then Scary is the first person to actually move. He is always ready to move to the next stage. And then the little people. But before we even talk about the little people, I want you to understand why we are looking at Sniff and Scary. Sniff and Scary are the 2 little mice that represent the simple part of our personality. The simple part of our personality. The simple part that always knows when change is coming. That tries to find something new. That is always looking within yourself to ask yourself questions like, where is my future? And all that. That little part of us, it represents the simple part of our personality. And the 2 other people or the characters in this book, they are the hem and then the house. At the end of this presentation, you must ask yourself, are you a hem or are you a how? Now, hem and how two little people that represent the complex and human part of our personality. The complex part of our personality. The part that is always what? Overthinking issues. Okay? The part that is always dreading change. The part that is scared of the uncertainties. Oh, I am comfortable in my place. Why should I even change? So when we go deeper, you would realize that Ham resists change as he feels it will bring something worse. Ham is resisting the change not because he doesn't like it, but then he feels that the change that is coming is something that could be worse because he does not know. So why should he change? So that person in the organization, when he is employed as maybe an account clerk, for the next 20 years, 30 years, he wants to remain an account clerk. Why? Because he is scared of what lies ahead. He doesn't know what is there. So why should I look for change? I want to stay at where I am. And then when you look at the house of our personality, at the initial stage of change, we try to resist it. But when we try to resist it, then we ask ourselves, oh, it can actually be something better. It may not be that worse. Why don't I just give it a try? Okay, so at first, the house resists it at first, but then they learn to adapt. So in this book, the character How, he resisted the change at first, but then he learned to discover that change can lead to something better. It is not all the time that change brings something bad. We all find ourselves in the pandemic. It is a global pandemic. Businesses have been affected. Schools have been closed. And children are having to stay in the house for a prolonged period till we find a solution to this pandemic. But then some schools have decided to be proactive. They have decided to be proactive because even though we didn't anticipate for this pandemic, we need to start living with it and understand that for the foreseeable time or the foreseeable future, till cure is what brought in or a vaccine, we need to learn to move on with our life and not remain dormant, because we will be extinct if we do that. Okay? So now, as I told you already, the maze represents the organization that we find ourselves, the community that you find yourself in, and the relationship that you are in right now. And what is the cheese? The cheese in this book represents the things that make us happy. What are some of the things that make you happy? Money, status in the society, job security. So we have job security, stability at the workplace, a good job, a good paying job. A good paying job. These are the things that make us happy. So these characters, the four characters that we are talking about, they found themselves in a maze. They were always looking or walking through the maze to try to find what cheese. And the maze represents our organization, the community, the relationship that we find ourselves in, and then the cheese are the things that make us happy. So if you look carefully, you look at the title of the book, it says, "Who moved my cheese?" So then we can ask ourselves, who moved out my happiness? My happiness. Because the cheese is something, this is a parable, talks about the things that makes us happy. Now, when we read the book, you get to know that the mice, who were all also looking for cheese in the maze, when they were lucky to stumble on a cheese at Cheese Factory C, they didn't just get comfortable. They didn't say, oh, I've been able to stumble on this, it is going to be mine forever. I worked so hard walking through the maze. I was using cutlass, cutting weed, snakes were in the maze, they bit me, but then I was able to finally find a cheese, so I deserve it forever. The cheese is never going to change. Now I am happy. And I feel like the happiness must be there forever. Why should it change? Why should it change? But then in this book, the mice check the cheese every day to see if there have been any changes and keep their running shoes around their neck in case they have to move again. Because in the maze, it is not easy. It is the strongest who survive. The stronger of the fittest. Or the fittest who will be able to make it at the end of the day. So when they go in, they tie their shoes around their neck. They've been able to discover Cheese Factory C. But the cheese over there that they are eating, that is nourishing their what? Their hunger, and nourishing their soul and everything, it is not going to be there forever. So whenever they go to the factory, they have their shoes around their neck. They are always checking for changes in the cheese. As we are eating it every day, is it going down? Is it getting bad? Okay, if it finished, what do we do? So they are anticipating the change and they are always checking around. What about the two little people? For the two little people, when they were able to discover the Cheese Factory C, they decided to move their house closer to the Cheese Factory C, so that there is actually no need for them to be running towards the cheese anymore. So previously, they used to wake up at 5 a.m. and run towards the Cheese Factory. Now they've been able to discover it, and it is going to be there forever. So why should they continue looking for new cheese? So they threw away their shoes, and then they decided to get comfortable. They decided to get comfortable, and every day, every blessed day, they just take their time, go there and go and enjoy the cheese. As the cheese was running low, as it was finishing, because they were so preoccupied around, and because they were so comfortable around, they didn't see that the cheese was running low. It was running low. So the little people settled down around the cheese and became complacent and self-satisfied with their cheese. Are you somebody who is now comfortable in the organization where you find yourself? Are you so comfortable in your relationship right now? In the community, are you so comfortable there that there is always going to be security for you? That is what the little people in the book, the characters, they were so comfortable. Now, one day, they woke up to find that the cheese is gone. But think about it. Did the cheese go just one day? No. They were eating it. But because they were so comfortable, they didn't see that it was running low. So just one day, they find out that the cheese is gone. The mice immediately put on their running shoes and go off in search of new cheese. They put on their running shoes because the running shoes were tied around what? Their neck. So it was easy for them to just fit it into their legs and then start running again, looking for the new cheese, the new happiness in their life, the new job, the new relationship, the new money. But then, the little people they stay there in shock, not believing this terrible turn of events. So Ham exclaimed, "Who moved my cheese? The world is so unfair. Who could have done this thing to me? I deserve this. I've worked so hard. I'm always walking in a maze. A snake bit me. I suffered and I got a maze. And somebody has come for everything." Okay? Ham looked at How and said, "Could it be the little mice?" How said, "No. Maybe we should also try to follow the little mice." Ham looked at How and said, "Why should I move again? I am so comfortable here. I like the taste of my cheese. Everything is perfect for me. So why should I move? In fact, I don't want to go anywhere." So when How decides to move, Ham always discourages him and tells him that, "How, why do you want to move? Do you know what is at the end of the day? What is there at the other side? Do you know?" So we have Hams in our lives. The Hams who always tell us that there is no need for us to change. You are comfortable. The job is okay. So why do you even want to move? Why do you want to go to school again? You have your degree. Why? Why are you going to stress yourself? We have the Hams in our lives. And when we, the house, want to take the proactive step, then they will tell us that no, don't go, and then they discourage us. That is what was happening. But then, Ham insists on staying where they are, saying that life is unfair and they should be compensated for this loss of cheese. Why must they be compensated? Because they worked hard to identify or discover the cheese. And now somebody has taken it. So that person who took it must compensate them. Most of us feel entitled to some of the good things that we have in our lives. We feel like we've worked so hard for it, so why should we change? Okay? Now, he is never able to abandon the place where his favorite cheese was. And he stays where he is, even if it means becoming extinct. Even if it means he will become extinct, he is not ready to move. Even if your skill will become obsolete, I don't care. I am comfortable with the skill because for years I've been using it to work. So why should I go for an upgrade now? How at first shut the change out, not wanting to accept that things have changed. At first, he is frightened of going back into the maze again. He is frightened of looking for new job, applying again. How was scared? He was scared of the new changes, the pandemic that is coming in. I must not go out again. Even the face mask is not that safe. What if somebody touches me? So I should wait. Okay, the vaccine will soon be released. And then you'll be waiting in your room for the next 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, and then you become extinct. After a while, Hal realizes that looking for new cheese is better than staying in an old place that has no cheese. So looking for it, the mere fact that you can actually picture, so have an idea of the change that you're looking for. Okay, so I want to go to school. If I go to the school, what will be the future for me? If I am able to actually look at it and picture it in my mind, then it will push me towards the change. He imagined himself finding and enjoying new cheese, and that pushes him on. So sometimes we need to have the picture. Once you have the picture of what you're looking for, then it is going to push you to be able to get it. Eventually, after he almost gave up because he moved from one maze to another maze, he was not finding new cheese. He discovered a new cheese factory called Cheese Factory N. Now, he finds a new cheese in the part of the maze where he had never ever been before. Sniff and Scary, they are already there. Look at Sniff and Scary, they are enjoying themselves. They are already there. Why are they already there? Because they were proactive. They anticipated the change. This time, he enjoys the cheese but continues to go out every day to discover new parts of the maze and checks the cheese every day for signs. Now, Hal has become smart. Even though he has discovered new cheese, he is no longer comfortable. Every day, he will pick his book and check the quantity remaining. And then he will also wear his safety boots and go through the maze and see if he will be able to discover new cheese. So that if the ones at Cheese Factory N finishes, then he can easily move on. He was even a good friend. He sent some of the cheese to his friend, Hem. But when he sent it, Hem said, "No, I don't want to taste this. I miss my old cheese. What if I don't like this? What if this one makes me run?" We have people like this in our lives, whereby no matter how change, even if it is positive, they will always turn it down because they just don't like change. Now, the lesson that Hal takes away from the loss of the cheese are, when you move beyond your fear, you feel free. When you move beyond your fear, the unknown, the things that are there that you do not know, when you move towards your fears, then you become free. Change happened and we must move with it. Change has happened. We are in a pandemic. Are we going to allow our children to continue staying in the house? I know I'm a parent. I don't want my children to go to school. But does that mean that I shouldn't find an alternative way of always making sure that they are learning something new? Because if they are staying in the house for some number of months, they tend to forget whatever they have learned. Okay? So we at DPS, whereby we have Cambridge curriculum, we know we are not writing a local examination. So we are proactive, finding a new way. Teachers, we needed only a short period to be able to learn online classes, being able to deliver the best so that the children will be home, but they will not be lacking anything. That is the change that we are talking about. So we should anticipate change and be ready for things to change. We should monitor our current situation so we know when things are not working. When things are not working, we must be able to know. How will you know when things are not working? You must be able to anticipate for change. Some people are there. Change will be coming in their life, but they still are in denial. No, this change will never come. No. Online school, how is that possible? You'll be in the house, the teacher is not there. How is that possible? No, it will not be effective. We have been able to cite the mentality of our students for them to understand that they being in the house is just like being in the classroom if only you are proactive and you accept the new change. Okay? So, for you to really understand whatever we are saying, we want you to know that we should adapt to change quickly. We should adapt to change quickly and let go of the old ways of doing things. The old ways of doing things. Those times we were recording everything. We were using our hands to write the lesson plan and everything. Now we are going online. We are doing it online. We mark attendance online, and parents easily get alerts, knowing that their children have been joining for classes. That is the change that we are talking about, whereby you don't always look for the old things, but you are looking for new things. We must change. We must change. This is a little summary of who moved my cheese. Now, I want to share only few lessons from this book. Few lessons. If you actually look at this book, it is something that we can apply to our lives. But then there are lessons that we need to take. First of all, I want you guys to know that you must always prepare for change. Prepare for change. As in layoffs at the organization, there will always be layoffs because of pandemic. So how are you making yourself indispensable? How are you making yourself relevant to the sense that they cannot lay you off? New body pains. When you are there and you are feeling some pains within you, that is a sign that sickness is coming your way. So anticipating for change, be prepared for change. Because Sniff and Scary, they noticed change because they were always observing. So we must be observant in our lives. Now, if we want to be able to effect change properly, then we must be able to let go of the past. Let go of the past. Previously, I always needed to come to class. The teacher will be there, give me work, look at me. But now the teacher is not there. I'm in my house. So why should I even learn? Please let go of the past. This is the new reality. This is the new reality. So let go of the past. We must be able to adapt to changes. Most of us we are risk averse. We don't like taking risk. But I want to encourage you today that the changes are here and changes will continue to come because change is constant. Now that we accept that change is constant, then we must be able to adapt. Be open-minded to new things. Be open-minded to new things. And when you are open-minded, you realize that you'll be able to discover things that are even better than your current situation. The fourth point is that imagine success. Imagine success. You must imagine that change is going to bring success. Change is going to bring success. It is not going to bring failure. So in change management, organizations who want to effect change, they shouldn't push all the change at a go. It depends on the people that you want to influence. You have to look at the culture of the people. Because if the changes are a lot and then they fail at the initial stage, then it means that they will just have it in mind that the overall plan will fail. So you have to start gradually to be able to get there. So imagine success. The fifth one is that we must be able to handle our fears. Handle your fears. Because as Hem later on realized, he said, when I am able to move towards my fears, I feel good. I feel good because I've been able to confront my fears. Now I feel good because I know that success is just around the corner. Let's enjoy to learn. Learn new things. Learn to enjoy change. When change comes to you, enjoy it. Embrace it. In fact, you must be able to relish change. For when you're able to relish it, then you know that success will come your way. The last thing that I want to give you is that be prepared for continuous change. Be prepared for continuous change because change is here and change will continue to come. It is constant. It is something that will always come our way. Okay? Yes. So these are the lessons that we need to learn from today's session. 1, be prepared for change. 2, let go of the past. 3, adapt. 4, imagine success. 5, handle your fears. 6, let's enjoy change. And then the last one, be prepared for continuous change. Okay? When time allows us and we are able to meet again, we will be able to look at it from change management perspective. But for today's session, I wanted to make it more practical for all of us to feel that change is around us. Okay? So my session will end here. I thank you all for joining us today. I thank you all. Remember, COVID is still real. COVID is still real. If you want to find out more about DPS, our website is there, dpsghana.edu.gh. You can visit our website for more informative lessons. Once again, my name is Kofi Boche Jr. You can follow me on Instagram at Kofi Jr. GH, on Twitter at Kofi Jr. GH, and on Facebook at Kofi Boche Jr. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.